Good morning and welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason on this Thursday. I hope it finds you well out there. I hope you woke up and you had money in your bank account. Yeah, this time it was Bank of America. Is this just starting to become a trend? Earlier this week, right, the cell phone stopped working yesterday. Bank of America had a big problem, and all of a sudden, tens of thousands of customers didn't have any access to their money. Matter of fact, I guess a ton of them had no balance at all. Like they went in and, hey, I got money in my account, and the bank was like, no, here's the good news. The good news is they've got it all fixed, at least for now. I know that makes you all warm and fuzzy, and of course, we talk about the need for having gold and silver put away just in case. Just in case. And I'm wondering, all those people without power in the aftermath of Helene, and did you notice? Where's FEMA? I said this a long time ago. We should just contract Walmart to handle it all for it. They do a better job than the government could ever do, right? People are out there like, Elon Musk is like, hey, I can get you internet. And the people they're all thankful. Oh, thank you, because they can't communicate at all. But they said, hey, does anyone have food? Does anyone have water? Right? I mean, those kind of things. Got a feeling. Let's call it a feeling. Some of those people that have some gold and silver, why do I feel like they're going to be able to get some of those things that other people won't? Our toll-free number, 800-951-0592. The website at allamericangold.com. And again, so many places to go. We got jobless claims today. We got Challenger Gray at Christmas. What did they say about the hirings and the firings? Reports breaking now that President Biden, apparently, we found him. He showed up. And laying out the plan to attack Iran's oil fields. We got all of that and a whole lot more. But, Jason, it's kind of funny because kind of talking about, notice how nobody really saw FEMA at all during this. Well, apparently FEMA's busy with all the illegal immigration, and they just said, hey, we're out of money. We don't have any more money. FEMA's broke, by the way, overnight. In case you missed, see, this is how fast things go. The U.S. national debt jumped another $150 billion overnight. We are now about $300 billion, just a little over $300 billion away from $36 trillion. So we should hit that number sometime, at the end of this month. It's going to be real close. It'll be close. That $37 trillion number between now and the end of the year. And, of course, the 10-year note racing higher today, 383. And again, when you got to sell that kind of debt, that's what it's going to cost you. And it is amazing, all of the things, Jason. And that's just a few things. There's so many things that we could talk about that are on the radar. And of course, we're about a month away from the election. And again, maybe you'll feel better about this or you'll feel better about that. But structurally, it doesn't matter because it's really unobtainable. A big news out from J.P. Morgan today saying, oh, by the way, so we had a report the other day that said, hey, the dollar share of reserves was down to 58%. And of course, we were sitting there talking about, hey, that's the lowest level going back to before they created the euro and all of that stuff. At one point, the dollar was in the high 70s. J.P. Morgan today gave an update and said it's down to 57%. So it drops a whole percent in a matter of 30 days. And Jason, they're calling this the de-dollarization phase of the world, upping their gold forecast, obviously, on top of that, but saying, hey, listen, this is a structural problem, and it doesn't really matter, who's elected, who isn't elected. This de-dollarization thing is real, and this is kind of what I had said earlier, that, we're down to 58, but then this is the big thing. But I think it's picking up steam, and J.P. Morgan this morning came out and said that's exactly what's happening. And now you're like, gosh, it's only 1%. That's not a lot. Over the last, just to give you an idea, over the last 10 years, it was falling about 0.5% a year. 0.5% a year. And now J.P. Morgan saying, hey, it fell 1% in a matter of, 30, 60, 90 days. Because I don't know. I think that report it's got a little lag to it. So it may have been 90 days ago. But a big shift in what they are buying. Of course, J.P. Morgan letting everybody know. You guys know this. Everybody's buying gold. That's what they're working on. 800-951-0592. When we get back, we'll go over the jobs number. Are they even accurate? Probably not. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break. 800-951-0592. I had a sale for today. It's already sold out. We'll come up with another. Don't worry. We'll come up with another one. We got so much to talk about right now. Right now, the Dow, quick look in at the markets. The Dow down 250. The S&P's down 18. The Nasdaq's down 30. We talked about the 10-year note already. Kind of to the highs that we've seen since the rate cuts. Crude oil, no shock, up $3. News breaking that the Biden administration and the Israelis are talking about bombing the Iranian oil facilities. Gold, depends on where you look. Gold's up on TV, right? Up on TV. But I'll tell you that it's down. Gold keeps, so the last couple of days, it's been the same pattern. Right now, here's the thing. How much is it? $26.51 right now on gold. And what we keep seeing every day here as gold apparently looking awfully comfortable in the 2600s. Really. It's crazy. I mean, we went up like $150 and it's like, we're fine here. Right? Everyone's wondering when we're going to break through 27. Listen, the next $500 in gold is going to be going higher, not lower. I think that's all that matters. Silver, look out. I got an update on silver, too. That's coming, too. 31.80. Silver is flat right now. I mean, have you? Oh, and by the way, the Japanese yen, more issues there. We'll see. They're trying to walk it back now. No. Hey, no. Did we say we weren't going to protect the yen? No. We're gonna. We'll see. You know what? Hey, they're in the same box. There's no good choice. Defend it. Don't defend it. Fight inflation. Don't fight inflation. It all ends the same way. That's why you got to get more diversified. I hope you're doing it. I really do. Why? Because it's going to put you in a better position when we go into, and I think it's going to be a long time here. We are really going into a period, and we've seen this. We learned in our history books, like the Dark Ages. What people don't really understand, because let's face it, the winners write the history books, right? That was really a situation that I think we're getting ready to enter once again, where governments keep grabbing power, governments keep demanding more of your paychecks. Right? And I know Trump and Kamala, I'm going to give this tax break and that tax break, and I'm going to give you this and that, and blah, 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 and it all sounds great. Tax ban's coming. in a very, very big way. And I hope you're ready for it. Because I don't know if we'll be around when it comes. Believe me, there'll be an era like the Magna Carta. It'll come again. It will. But unfortunately, we're going towards the dark age. That's just how it works. Check out our friends over at Y Refi. You're going to get up to 10.25% fixed rate of return. I mean, not correlated to the stock market. Doesn't care about jobs, doesn't care about the Fed, doesn't even care about Iranian oil. I know, shocking. Think about all the stuff we got to worry about this and this and this and this. Well, here's something you won't have to worry about. You got to have a minimum of $50,000. It's a great company. All this, I just saw a headline that they're still trying to figure out a way to forgive government student loans. It put it all on the taxpayer. We don't need the government. You need companies like Y Refi. Check these guys out. YRefi.com. Invest, the word invest, the letter Y, REFY.com, or just call them at 888-Y-REFI-24, 888-973-3924. Jason, the jobs numbers came out. Now, again, remember, Jay Powell's already said, hey, these numbers aren't even worth what they're printed on, but okay. They came out 225,000. So that's more than it was the last few weeks, but below that 230, 240. And he almost laughed about it because I'm thinking, what about the hurricane? Did those states report what's happening? Do all the ancillary layoffs from all the strikes? I think next jobs report could be really funny. But 227 or 225,000 first-time unemployment seekers. However, Challenger, Gray, and Christmas. Now, remember, Challenger, Gray, and Christmas, it's their job to track layoffs and hires. They do that. People actually pay them big bucks for all of this information. Job cuts announced rose once again, year-to-date, to over 600,000, 72,821 job cuts announced in the month of September. By the way, that's up 53% from last year. Somehow, announced layoffs are up 53% year over year, but jobless claims are the same. Right, jobless claims, literally, I mean, they're the same. By the way, they said that so far the hiring side, but tech leading the way on the job cuts, according to Challenger, Gray, and Christmas. But it was what they said about what's happening on the hiring side that caught my eye. They said there was only a little over 403,000 hiring plans in September. Here was the part that caught my eye. Of that, 401,000 of them were what they were saying was seasonal employers. So Challenger, Gray, and Christmas said, by the way, all the hiring that the companies want to do, it all has to do is seasonal. They're really not planning on doing any other hiring. By the way, down 32%. So that 400,000 number, that 403,000, 32% lower than the hiring plans for September of last year. So kind of interesting what Challenger, Gray, and Christmas is saying. Hey, layoffs are up about 50%, 53%, and planned hirings, Jason, down 32%, and all the planned hirings in September, seasonal.
We've been talking about this for a while. This 2024 is just slowly but surely seeing a lot of layoffs of these big companies. The first-time jobless claims don't seem to be matching up, does it, Jones? But all the layoffs seem to be reporting a bigger number, and I still think this has a lot to do with with people with multiple jobs, and it has something to do with people that are 1099 employees that don't really collect unemployment. Now, the big companies, obviously, those will be counted in the numbers, but sure seems like with all the layoffs we've been being reported, I mean, the stuff it's nonstop right now. It seems like there should be more of an emergency in the labor market, but
we haven't seen it, have we? The interesting point that they also made, by the way, these hiring plans, the lowest since 2011. So we're thinking about 2011, we're still trying to come out of this things. But nonetheless, that was the data. Now, tomorrow, we got to remember, tomorrow we're going to get the government jobs numbers. And again, I think they're expecting, somewhere in that, between 1 and 200,000, and I'll get the exact number, but it's somewhere in that range. It's probably somewhere around 150, 160,000. We'll see how it comes out. Interesting that the Biden administration yesterday, and you don't know. Did he say the right thing? Did he not? He was asked about striking Iran's nuclear capabilities or nuclear infrastructure. He said no. Today he was asked if he would support Israel striking Iran's oil facilities, and he came up with a different answer. We are discussing that. According to the information, the U.S. government and the Israelis are talking about exactly what oil infrastructures are going to be targeted. I really thought doing the nuclear thing would be the no-brainer, but I don't know. Again, you never know with Biden. He doesn't even know what day of the week it is. But, Jason, crude oil up $3 on the news. It appears. Now, yesterday was Rosh Hashanah. Well, I don't know. I could be totally off on this. But if they go where I think they're going to go, they may wait till, Friday afternoon or Saturday just to do this while the markets are closed.
Yeah, we'll see. The anniversary of the whatever the attack was last year, the October 7th, whether it be
7th. Oh yeah, that's right.
That's Monday.
October 7th.
We'll see if that plays into this on both sides. I could see Iran attacking on October 7th, right? It could go both ways. So we'll see what happens when we open up the week next week. It could be pretty rocky roads.
That's a good point. Yeah. You know what? I didn't even throw that out there. One more thing for all of us to have to worry about on top of J.P. Morgan telling everybody the debasement or de-dollarization is here and expected to stay. A report from the American Farmers, by the way, Purdue University puts this thing out. Apparently the farmers saying life's not good right now. Current conditions, extremely poor. Farmers saying weak pricing combined with high input costs. So the farmers are saying we still have inflation. Unfortunately, we're not making it up on when we go to sell our goods. And now all of a sudden, farm debt skyrocketing, and we'll see how that plays out. But the big thing that we're going to talk about, silver right now. I don't know, Mexico's got a new president. Mexico is gearing up to nationalize their oil and also their mining industries. They are the world's largest producer of silver. And they're saying that Mexico, Jason, is running out of silver. Of course, being the world's largest producer, Mexico has regularly outputted 5,600 tons of the white metal over the past 10 years. But now they're saying Mexico's reserves are down to 37 metric tons. And they're saying that by the end of 2026, there's going to be a problem. So one of the reasons that people aren't talking about why would Mexico want to nationalize their silver mines, and a big piece of this is the silver production has been on a huge decline for the first time in almost a decade. So we're going to see Mexico's output to fall by 16 million ounces. There is a big strike that's been going on in the country, and now people are saying, hey, this is just a matter of Mexico's running out of silver, and there's not enough mines coming online to make up the difference. Telling you, silver's getting real itchy. 800-951-0592. Gold moving higher here, 26.53. We'll keep our eye on it. Silver, though, is the one we're looking at now, up about 15 cents now, 31.95. And, of course, they like to look at the December contract, 32.15. So right near that third. Remember, I told you, close at about 32.25. Look out here. Get on this thing. The best buy that in silver, we got silver quarters, $250. 5-ounce silver bars, they're $180. Rolls of silver eagles, $785. You want a case of silver, $19,500. As word out of Mexico is that silver supply is running out. 70% of the miners in Mexico are Canadian companies. Dan Dixon, CEO of Endeavor Silver, they've got 2 producing silver mines. A lot of changes, like we talked about. They're talking about nationalizing the mines, but they made a bunch of law changes last year. The Mexican government did. And here's what Dixon said. We've depleted our resource. We need to make new discoveries to replace that supply. Unfortunately, these new changes are going to make it harder to bring that additional supply. The mining code threatens to trigger a wave of litigation in Canada. So they're getting ready, right? We're talking about the possible nationalizing of Mexico's silver mines. They're saying that legal reform could jeopardize a $9 billion worth of investment over the next 2 years. Chinese demand skyrocketing. By the way, the number 2 miner, so who's the second biggest miner of silver? Well, you guessed it, right? The Chinese. Guess what? They've got the same problem, not that the nationalizing mine problem, decreasing production. So Mexico, they've been averaging about 5,600 tons. Last year, 2 years ago, it was 6,300. Now it's 5,600, so you can see the drop. China, they're next, but they're only at 3,600. I mean, they're not. They're only 60% of the size, and they're falling. By the way, Peru, if you want to know, they're the 3rd largest miner of silver. They're saying Chinese demand so intense, and remember what we're telling you about what China's doing. They're not allowing the silver to even get to the marketplace. They're not even allowing it to get to the marketplace. They are paying these miners refined cost. So when these miners mine the silver, they put them in 1,000-ounce silver bars. And when I say 1,000 ounces, they can be anywhere from like 920 ounces to 1,080 ounces. But in general, they call them 1,000-ounce bars. China says, hey, don't even refine it. We'll pay you the refined price. Ship that silver right now. which probably makes sense, right? Because China's like, hey, all we're going to do when we get the bar is melt it back down again. Hey, don't even bother. And Jason, they're talking about silver deficits. They're saying that with falling production out of Mexico and China and the nationalism that exists in Peru, right? And, of course, now Mexico's talking about nationalizing, all feeding into the global silver supply deficit. They're saying right now the silver market is undersupplied by 237.7 million ounces, which will be the largest deficit on record. So when we talk about, hey, silver's itching to go higher, supply and demand ruling the day, and the issue is, Jason, everybody needs it. We understand why China needs it, right? Because they're the manufacturer of the world. And, of course, let's face it, this World War III stuff, all those bombs takes a lot of silver. It just does, right? A lot of silver at a time when the supply is dwindling. Jason, again, silver's had a great move this year with gold. People don't talk about it, but I think silver is going to rally here significantly, and not just short term. Over the next 3 to 5 years, we will see a new all-time high in silver.
It's interesting. When I first came on with you in 2018, and opened the office and at the radio station, and but my wife was a little more active, and plus I was selling gold and silver on the side before I joined up, so I was always, doing anything I could to find ways to make people understand silver. And she typed up this thing and did the $20 gold piece and the $20 bill that was at the bottom of the page. But at the top, she just had a whole bunch of, silver's good for this, and silver's good for that, and all these different things that not really even monetary, right? What silver's in and why it's being used so much, just like what you just said. But at the very bottom, Joe, is pretty funny. The last thing, because I wasn't into conspiracy stuff and and all the stuff that I got further into. I was into that stuff, but I got further into it as I ran the radio station. But the bottom one was like, it's just, these are all happy facts about how good silver is. And the bottom one is like, silver is used in cloud seeding to help alter the weather and change hurricanes. And I was like, wow, I wonder if that has a lot to do with the manipulation of silver. It literally said that back when I didn't even know what chemtrails were. I didn't know chemtrails and spraying stuff in the air, but it literally said this is on a traditional fact finding about what silver is used for. It's used in cloud seeding. It's to help change the trajectory or the strength of hurricanes. Get you wondering why this hurricane hit so hard at the timing of when it hit, but why silver is the only commodity that has not hit its record high. Lumber, food, gold, all these other commodities have all been at record highs since COVID. But not silver. For some reason, silver it doesn't quite get there. And Joe, everything that you're mentioning, and even the weird stuff like I mentioned, sure seems like with Mexico's mines being depleted, going down, like you said last segment, sure seems like the actual physical price of silver is going to just blast past that record high. And it's going to make the other commodities a little envious when they hit its record high, Joe.
800-951-0592. It's an all-out silver buy right now. Rolls of silver quarters, $250. Rolls of American Silver Eagle, $785. 5-ounce silver bars, $180. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break. 800-951-0592. Costco's going to add platinum to its holdings there, so continue to watch. Costco continues to say, hey, anytime we put metals up, they sell out in hours. So this isn't even – here's the funny part. If Costco can't even get the supply, imagine if they could stay in stock, right? But he says, nope, we buy, a couple $100 million, and it's gone in hours. Now saying that they're going to add platinum to their holdings, which I think is a good timing for them on that as well. And then some other good news, and we reported this yesterday about Tanzania. more and more of these gold-producing nations passing laws which is forcing a percentage of all gold mined in the country to be sold to the central bank of that country, Tanzania, the latest. And to give you an idea, because Tanzania, I never even heard of Tanzania. Well, okay. Well, 20% of all their gold being mined now, the central bank is buying. That amounts to about 6 tons of gold a month. So, Jason, that's not a small number. I don't know. It's only 6. You got to remember, a ton of gold, that's 32,150 ounces. And all of a sudden, you multiply that times 6, and you're like, wait a minute, there's almost 200,000 ounces of gold off the market.
I know a ton of gold would change my life. Yeah, I guess when it comes to countries and economies, maybe it's not a big push, but the way the gold price is moving and then talk of reevaluating or repricing it, suddenly 6 tons becomes more and more and more lucrative. And with a fight to get gold, and then you talk about Mexico's depleted silver production, these metals are becoming a lot more scarce, and scarce is why the price goes up, and the price goes up because of the inflation, which is pushing the physical ownership. This is why you buy it now, so that later it protects the value of the dollars that you are holding. Because if you want to be one of those guys, I'm going to wait and see. I don't know about gold and silver. I'm going to wait and see. Well, wait and see is going to cost you. It seems like about $100 a month as 2024 is going on, right, Joe? And $100 an ounce per month in 2024 by you simply waiting. If you want to keep waiting,
yep,
keep losing $100 an ounce. Okay, that's what it's been averaging this year.
More countries announcing that they will be attending the BRICS Summit, which we got to remember, the BRICS Summit, October 22nd through October 24th. And we're sitting here and we know what we're expecting out of that summit. The BRICS Bridge payment system is now fully operational. We know that a lot of the BRICS countries now trading in things other than dollars. The Saudis, for the first time, accepted a payment for oil in something other than dollars. And I think the big question will be, are we going to learn at this meeting how many more new members? It was already said that they've received almost 40 applications from countries for membership. They won't take them all, right? That's too much too fast. The last time they kind of doubled. They went from 5 to 11, right? They went from 5 to 11. What will they do this time? I think remains to be seen. But I think what is more important is we're going to find out all of the methods with the payment system, blockchain, right? They've already said, hey, listen, we're using Ethereum. That's behind it. And then people are talking about, hey, they're going to announce almost like their own basket of currencies. That's going to include a major gold stake. We're expecting to hear more about that as well. So, Jason, there's a lot of things happening when we start talking about gold and silver that have nothing to do with World War III, rate cuts, right? I think J.P. Morgan kind of laid it out today. Hey, this de-dollarization thing, this dollar debasement thing, yeah, this thing's gotten serious, right? It's definitely taken the next level.
We mention all the time all the different uses for silver. Gold is still used in industry, too. It's not like it's not used at all. I've been seeing a lot more of those little YouTubers, talk about how they're stripping gold off of computer, parts, and how you can make a lucrative income by learning how to strip gold off of computer parts and industrial, and tech parts. It's like... So, yeah, the uses for these metals, platinum, too, as well. Platinum's been down because of its industrial use. Now it's switching switching back to being less industrial use, it's going back to being used more for industrial use in those catalytic conversions instead of palladium. And the palladium prices come down, well, it's going to push the platinum price up. I guess catalytic converters, Joe, if you got a choice of which metal you can use, I guess at some point you want to use the cheaper metal, right?
Well, and again, yeah, it's something where platinum, very similar to silver. Silver's ahead. So silver's had supply deficits now. I think this is, the third year in a row. It's wiped out all the surplus. Platinum, they're just starting their supply deficit. They're going to run deficits in platinum for like the next 5 years. And as the surplus that they had goes away, you're going to see a big move in that price. But that's going to be coming later. Right now, it's all eyes on silver. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. Final segment coming up. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason wrapping up this Thursday. Remember, we get the jobs report tomorrow. Big news today. Obviously, President Biden saying they are discussing hitting the Iranian oil infrastructure, and I'm assuming Israel, not us, but discussing that after yesterday saying that we would not support a strike on their nuclear facility. Kind of weird. I don't know. He may not even know what he's talking about. But as we wait for those things to play out, news out of Canada and Mexico, the supply dwindling rapidly, new legislation in Mexico creating issues in opening new mines, talk of nationalizing, and then, of course, declining silver production in the world's two biggest producers, Mexico and China. Has silver getting ready to break out here. Rolls of U.S. silver quarters, $250. Rolls of Silver Eagle, $785. You want to save $5 a roll? Buy a case of silver, $19,500. 5-ounce silver bars, $180. For you gold guys out there, I'm going to make it a good deal for you today. $20 gold pieces, $27.50. $27.50. That's what? $100 over spot. It's just a great time to be into the gold and silver markets because premiums have come on. Remember last year before? Remember silver premiums? They hit like $14 over spot. I mean, right? Silver Eagles, $14 over spot. Silver $half. $12 over a spot. I mean, they were insane. And now they're really come in. This is the time you want to be buying because I think here's the thing, the next $10 to $15 in silver is to the upside. The next $500 in gold is to the upside. 800-951-0592. And Jason, I guess it'll be interesting. Will the bombs be flying by this time tomorrow, or will they wait for the weekend? And then, of course, like I said, the government's jobs number, which the Fed has already said, aren't even accurate.
Because the fear factor is so high with all of these things happening between hurricanes and strikes and war and elections. It's just going to make people want to take a flight to safety, Joe, especially with their finances. A lot of people aren't able to buy and sell things. I've seen the gas lines in North Carolina or South Carolina, and people are waiting 3 hours to move 1 mile down the road or to get gas. And these are things where you have a little gold and silver, and you're a little prepared. If it only lasts a week, 2 weeks, a month for these people, sure is nice to be comfortable for a week or a month when things like this happen, Joe. So you better be having some of this stuff.
Right? And we haven't even talked about the strike, the no movement. I have seen zero movement on the port worker strike or the Boeing strike. So, man, that looks like we're going to be heading into next week. Every day that goes by, that gets a little worse, and people start. I saw a thing, people starting to hoard toilet paper again. Oh, please, Not that again. I can't deal with it.